or the law. We in the community are calling that corruption, but as the distinction from the litigation and enforcement accountability, you're now educating us to say that is not corruption.
It's just bad.
So this is why we had you come.
Okay. So the incompetence may not be corruption.
Precisely.
But it may rise to the level of a violation of the civil rights.
Precisely.
And to make that allegation, I assume we're saying that incompetence is structured in a way that it only impacts African Americans.
Precisely.
Can you write that down?
Now, that is a critical distinction that would not have been made if you had not been in the room. And for us to be able to communicate in the language of our experience and our expression and slow the process down long enough for us to hear what you have to say. And that is what has been missing for us.
And to put it in this box, these are special issues actually.
I'm sorry, I pointed at my thought. Okay.
Yes, I am new at this. My name is Carolyn Porterman, and I am new at this, and I'm just sitting down here listening at all that's going on. But I have a case pending on me right now concerning the election.
Well, can you tell me what kind of case it is?
Yes.
Criminal case or is it an administrative case?
Election.
They're trying to make
The ballot.
Is it
Be specific.
Is it a prosecution like with the defendant, or is it
It's
a
a
civil case?
It's a prosecution case. I think they may turn it into criminal. I hope not anyway. Well, it's not criminal. It would be felony.
That's good.
Yes. For mishandling appropriate ballots. And they turn it over to the grand jury. The first grand jury, they turn it over to, they it came out as a no bill, and in return, they held it sometime high, and they turned it over to another grand jury, and then indicted on the charge. So what can be done about that? Right now, this case is pending.
I can say very certainly that there's nothing that we can do about that because it involves, since it's a criminal nature, I would assume that you have counsel appointed to you. Is that right?
Yes.
So
yes, I have a lawyer.
that's really something that's specific to your case, and it's nothing that our office would handle because it's a pending case. Our office couldn't do anything about it. Criminal matter.
Unless you are alleged, and you should have heard these words earlier, pattern of practice. If you're telling me that when African Americans are in cases against African Americans or charges against African Americans are submitted to the grand jury, and the initial grand jury finds a notice that there's no basis for prosecution, and that there's a pattern of practice of the district attorney resubmitting those to a second and a third grand jury, but only as it pertains to African Americans, then there may be a basis for a pattern of practice discrimination, but we would have to determine whether or not that's, but just on the basis of what you just told us, there doesn't appear to be anything that would be actionable by law.
I don't think they've done that to more than
that's
other African Americans.
You were there last night, correct? At the meeting last night? Can you talk a little bit, or is there anybody that was there last night that can talk about some of the issues that were brought up about?
Would it fit into other African Americans where they had a grand jury and they...
That's a relatively simple matter. As I said, I would communicate with my contacts at the FBI. You know, it's just a matter of going in and looking at the records. I mean, I'm sure, I would hope, if they're like every other district attorney's office and clerk's office in the county, you know, they keep records of the true bills and the no bills and the grand juries, and it's just a matter of seeing how many times that's been done and checking and confirming the racial the race of the person that was done to them and determination.
But we've had that happen more than once here lately
Yeah.
in McIntosh County.
And that's the thing, some other examples from earlier today, we don't want to we're not trying to knock anything down now, but we just want to establish as part of the Know Your Rights aspect that that is what the law says it is, and that we would have to investigate further so things wouldn't end today in terms of what you would want to send us or what you would want to bring forward to us.
Now, I came today, but I came prepared because I thought it was going to be present whatever we had to you all.
That's what we had initiated, yeah. We were going to have each agency present information on what your rights are, and it got off to a very different start.
So I came prepared with my paperwork, so you can see exactly what I was talking about in my particular cases. So I guess that's not what it was.
That's what we said. We'll be back tomorrow. So anybody who want to talk to HUD to see whether you have a fair housing complaint that we know we can get through the system to get investigated. We're here to look at your stuff and say, okay, that's not something in our jurisdiction. However, we can make sure it get to the agents. I don't know if I came in late, sorry about that. But if it was explained that all of these enforcement agencies here, as he stated, we have specific rules, regulations, and guidelines that we have to follow. We're here, as he stated, we're not saying these things are not true and did not happen, but for us as an investigative agency, they're allegations for us as investigators. And I'm here to gather all of your information so I can go out and get the facts as to whether or not there is corruption. There is all of these things going on and try to find out why. And I don't know if you all know if it was explained to you. In an investigative process, we are neutral. We don't represent anybody. But we're here to make sure that the laws are not being violated, that your civil rights are not being violated, that your housing issues are not being overlooked. And if they are, that's when we're able to enforce and get your case to the district court, the superior court, or wherever you're trying to get it to. And another thing about our agency, if you already have legal issues already in court and they are heard by a judge, for us in HUD, it's once a decision is made, it's a res judicata for us. I can't touch it again because they've already been dealt with. You've been where I'm trying to get you to, so that's double dipping.
So you're saying with my situation, if I felt like it was discrimination.
Yeah, it's an allegation for me. Yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't, but it's called facts. If the facts don't prove it was, I can never change your perception that you felt they discriminated against me. But if I can find sufficient evidence to prove, yeah, this happened to me.
That's what I'm saying. If I hold the facts and then you find you hold evidence that you hope support your allegations. Right.
Because as the gentleman stated, we're investigating. So just like you made your allegations, the person that you're making those allegations against, I have to provide them the due process and opportunity to provide their position as to why whatever transpired that you felt was discriminatory happened.
Right.
And if they come with their evidence and it refutes your evidence, then we'll be going back and forth doing everybody refuting who said what, and that's where we come in to say, okay, who's the credible individual in this situation?
What I'm saying is I have a situation where the judge, even after they, it was discrimination on the part of myself and the Caucasian clerk, and the judge even wrote the judiciary. I got a letter where he wrote the judiciary committee stating that, he voided a letter that was given me to operate under a system where the same type letter was given to the clerk to operate under a system, under the same system. and me, and mine being a black female, her being a white female, avoided my process, anyway, my going under that system. And they continue to let the white female clerk continue under that fee system.
Okay, and I understand everything you're saying, but I still, just like you said, he voided your letter and let her continue. We have to go in and look at what's the SOP. I understand what you're saying, and we're hearing all you're saying, but I still, it goes further than that.
But this is what I'm saying.
I have to go back.
This is what we're asking. How do we get to that point?
And I think we're trying to get there, but like I said, I think after lunch, something happened and we got on a whole different tangent, and we got to get it back there, because like I said, as the gentleman said, he didn't come prepared like you did with his evidence to say this is what's happening. So that's why we're here. If you don't have it today, we're listening, and if we get your case in and take it, some of the questions that this gentleman is asking just to kind of get clarification, so we can even tell you, I don't think I'm going to be able to help you. You may need to go here. It's not we're trying to pass the buck, but my agency can't help you.
Right.
Like your issues and the lady issues of the voting issues, HUD don't handle that. So when you come to me, I'm going to say, I can't help you. Maybe you need to go to the Attorney General.
Right.
You need to go to DOJ. We want to point you in the right direction. Because every agency we have, when you say housing, it's a broad category, but when it comes to discrimination and civil rights and fair housing, it's narrow.
So, discrimination, fair housing, all that's connected.
Yes and no.
I'm here to understand.
I'm saying yes and no. In your mind it is, but not for me, under my authority as to what I can do. So that's why we're here trying to let you know what I can do for you. And some of your issues don't even fall into my category.
That's what I'm saying.
It'll get right on down the line to somebody else. And if none of us can help you, we all have a responsibility to make sure we get you to the right agency that can.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, that can. We don't want to just leave here and
That's what I'm
you just left where you were when you walked in the door.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Hopefully when we leave here, you have, and we might have to leave here today and say, I don't know who I need to refer you to. When I get back to my office and start making calls and doing research, we can still communicate. You'll have our names, our numbers. Like, it's going to take more than just a day, believe me. This whole civil rights process is not a quick and fast one. It can linger on for days, months, and years.
So I think part of getting off track is because, we are here to build capacity of the community. At least that is what my intention was. My intention was not to come here and launch investigations. This was a know your rights forum. And so what happened is we got off track in the beginning by getting into the issues before people knew how to address them appropriately. And that's why we invited the agencies here to present information on what those rights are that would give you the language and tools you need to say, oh, that issue relates to me.
Well, usually
You're not sure you can
Right. And so should we, I know that we're kind of far down the track, should we do that process? Would you like to go through that